Hey guys, Majul up here, and welcome to the 11th video in our beginner Java series. And today I'm going to be covering something that is goes along with our variables, and I probably should have covered it after variables, but that is arrays. So, what is an array? An array is a collection of variables of the same type. That kind of makes sense, right? If we type in int like number, right? We make a number. Well, what if we want another number? Right, so we have to type in number 2. Right, what about another one? What if we wanted 100 integers? Oh geez, that's a lot of typing, and that would be unreasonable to type. What if we wanted to vary the number of integers we have? We have no way of doing that. Oh yes we do, they're called arrays. So, how do you make an array? Well, we already have an array on screen right now, which is this string array of right here. So it doesn't have to be just numbers, it can be objects as well, such as strings. But the way you define an array, so I'm just going to say int array, right? Now there's multiple ways we can make this an array. You can put brackets, like this, after int, put brackets in the middle of it, put brackets by the name, in any way, like that. All of those are valid ways of saying this is an array. I prefer that. Int array equals new int array. And now we put in a number of how many integers I want here. So let's say 100 integers, right? So kind of like declaring an object. Remember how we say like a scanner equals scanners. Let's call it input equals new scanner. See how we type that new there? The only difference is we're using our data type and then using brackets. So we are declaring a bunch of spaces in memory, 100 integers into memory. That's what we're going to do, right? And now we can go through and initialize all of these numbers. So what works very well with arrays is loops. So for loop, let's do a for loop from, let's do int I equals 0. I is less than 100. We're going to go I plus plus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just print out every number in my array. Right? I. I'm going to put that here just like that. So when you want to access a member of our array, you put the name of our array, and then you put a bracket, and then you put the index. Here's something to remember. Arrays start at 0. So the first index in our array is 0, right? I declared 100. 100 does not exist, right? It's 99. It goes from 0 to 99, which is 100, right? Actually, 100 doesn't exist. That's why our for loop right here goes between 0, starts at 0, and 100, but it never reaches 100 because it's always got to be less than. Not less than or equal to, it's less than. Okay? So, let's print out our array. Let's save this. Let's compile this. It compiles just fine, no errors. I'm going to run it, and we get all of our integers. And it initializes all of them to 0. See that? So when you initialize an array number, it initializes it to 0. Java's pretty smart about that. It'll do that for you. So what if we want to assign these things a number? All right, I'm going to assign array I is equal to I. So what that should do is it'll number all of the elements in our array at index I, which will go from 0 to 100. It'll label it its index number, right? So we'll get 0 to 99. And then after we do that, I'm going to just tell it to print it out. Let's just print it out. So system.out.println array I. Do that. Save. What happened to my thing? Here we go. Channel. File. We'll run it. And there you go. Right, we get 0 to 99. Works perfectly fine. Okay? So, what if I was to change this number right here? Say 1,000, right? Our for loop no longer works. It doesn't cover all of the array. This is a handy thing that arrays have. All arrays, if you type array, you can type in .length, and that will get you the length of our array, right? So if I save this, I compile it, and I run it, it still works because it knows that our array is of size 100, and it sets its length that way. Okay? Now, what if I wanted to initialize this differently? There are different ways to initialize. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to tell you what numbers to initialize here. All right, I'm going to just do this. All right, I just want to know what's in my array. I'm going to tell it what I'm going to assign the stuff in the array. So what I can do is after my array, if I don't put anything in the brackets, the square brackets, I can put these curly braces, and then I can actually give it numbers. So I'm going to say 0, 5, 10, 20. And these numbers are divided by commas, right? 50, 90, 100. Right, there's my new array right there. It's going to be an array, and it's going to hold these numbers. So if I file save, I can compile it. Compiles just fine, and I run it. Hey, there is my new array. And it holds these numbers, right? So, yeah. And like I said, you can use anything. You don't have to use just ints. You can use floats, doubles, any data type you can think of. You know, it's a Boolean. All works the same way. You can even do strings. So let's do a string. And instead of new int, it's a new string array. And I'm going to say like, hello, how are you? Question mark. And it'll work the same way as our number array. So we compile it and we run it and we get hello, how are you? Another thing I want to note, since we're talking about arrays, this array right here, it's in our main method. What is this? Our potato squash, which normally, if you look at other people's code, this will be called args, because it's called it's called the argument of the program. I guess I'll leave it as args. So what you can do here, I'm just gonna get rid of this. So what you can do with this args is if you go into our run, we can edit it. So here, where we say Java, and then our name, we can actually add things after this. So if I say hello, right? And now I'm going to say Java tutorial hello. If I come in here and say system.out.println, right? I want to print out args0. I want the first argument. Okay, I'm going to compile this. And we're going to run it. Look what it says. Hello, right? Just like in our run area. Like here, right? So what this is usually used for is, so like, say you have 2 runs and you want one to be a debug mode, you could say like debug here and then go like if args that length is greater than 0, right? Is there actually any arguments? And if there is, if args 0, our first argument, that equals, it is equal to debug, then I'm gonna say like system.out.println. I'm going to say entering debug mode. Oh, jeez. Here we go. Then we can hit save. I'm going to compile it. I'm going to run it. And we are entering debug mode. Because in my run, I want to edit it. There we go. Edit. We have debug here. But if I get rid of the debug, save. Oops. And then I run it. It doesn't say anything because, well, we don't actually have any arguments. And if we did, it doesn't say debug. So it's simple as that. That's an example of using arrays. So I hope this video was informative and it helped you out. Comment, rate, subscribe, and thanks for watching.